Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been a while, but today Julia from Craftroomadventures and I have a new challenge, a Crafty Friend card. Now today's challenge was to use the Feed the Birds stamp set from Hello Bluebird, which is an adorable stamp set. I remember that we both bought it in 2020, but then of course we live far away from America, so it took a while to get to our craft rooms, and then of course I used it a few times already. I don't know about Julia out of my head, but this challenge truly was an attempt to get more use out of our gorgeous stamps, to encourage each other, and in this case we both had the same stamp set that we wanted to feature again or more, or however you want to name it. So we decided to make it a challenge, and then we just, as I said in previous challenge videos, which have been a while, sorry for that, but this is all about having fun, maybe sometimes getting out of our comfort, maybe sometimes using a specific stamp set or doing a specific theme, but it's not about rushing each other, it's about having fun, enjoying the ride, and just get more out of it. It's not about you need to get it done by then, so therefore it's not in like a really frequent way that we are sharing Challenge a Crafty Friend cards, but we really want to get in that more this year, so I hope that whenever you can join us, definitely do, or if you don't have this stamp set but a similar stamp set that that you want to feature more, definitely take this as a chance to get more out of your stamps, out of your craft room. So today's card is going to be a Slimline card, a thank you card, since that is one of the stamp sets from in this set, and of course I just don't have enough thank you cards. I don't know how or why, but whenever I'm creating a card, I'm mostly thinking about themes that I can use continuously, and of course you can thank people continuously throughout the year, but well, it happens way less than, for example, a birthday card. Now on today's card, I thought, well, just get this lovely girl out there. She's adorable, and then I didn't know how many birds I needed, so I just stamped a bunch of them and just started coloring them in. I did all the same colors on the birds, an oldish pinkish color. I don't know if there is a bird that exists in this color, but I just love this color. And then I thought about doing the clothing of the little girl in some more muted inks. So therefore I took a bit of a greenish ink that I really like. In the end it was a bit of a struggle to get some of the blending going, but it worked out fine, and I'm really glad how that green stands against the pink of the birds. Now for the rest, this card is really simple. I'm using a frame. I'm using the Timeless Frames Slimline die from Crafty Meraki. It's a beautiful die set with some different frames in it. I most of the time use the biggest frame, but you can use all of them. I did it once on a card and I just love it. It's like one of those basics, but not too basic, because you have that gorgeous scalloped sort of frame, and it's just so elegant and beautiful. And then the rest of the card is going to be really light. I'm using just a tiny bit of cracked pistachio to get that background going, but not too much. I really wanted to feature the images and then have a bit of gold glitter on the frame. So about the Challenge a Crafty Friend card, as you probably know, Julia from Craftroomadventures, she also has a YouTube channel, so that's really fun. So if you watch this video, then definitely check hers out, because she's an amazing crafter. I really look up to her. She's so creative and she just makes the most gorgeous things, truly. So I hope that you will hop along to her YouTube channel. We both link in our description box towards each other, so that's really handy for you. And yeah, have fun, get inspired. If you have this stamp set, then you have 2 cards as inspiration to maybe get you going and have another idea to use them with, so have fun. So here again, as I said, reusing colors. You can use as many colors as you want to. You can give her pants another color, of course. but you also know me, and then you know that I try to keep it as simple as possible, which also means for me personally repeating color combinations throughout the card. And in this case there is that slight border on the jacket that is dividing the pants with the jacket, so I think it's just fine to use the same color. And I will also use the same color combination on the hat, just because we can. So that's really fun. So I did that, and then of course we will go for the wood look on all of the timber and the branches and stuff. So about the coloring, because well, I'm more than halfway the coloring. I'm going from darkest to lightest, but there are again many ways to color with Copic markers. For me this just works the best. The paper that I'm using is Transotype Perfect Coloring Paper. It's a really strange name, I know. I'm listing towards it, or I'm linking it. No, I'm not linking it. I have it listed in just the supply list in the description box, the correct writing, if you were looking for that. Really easy. And then about the color combinations, you can find it on my blog post, really easy for you for reference. So that should all go really smoothly if you want to revisit the colors that I used today. So normally whenever I'm doing people, because that's a bit outside of my comfort zone still, I know you guys are great and you're really supportive, and I'm getting better at it, definitely, because I'm coloring a lot of Rochelle Miller images, which are a lot of people, but they are adorable. And then I always say that I start with skin or hair, because that's outside of my comfort. Now in this case I waited quite a long time with the hair. Why? Because as you can see there isn't a lot of hair, so a lot of crazy stuff you cannot really do with the hair, and I will just go from darkest to lightest, just coloring it in really simple. So therefore I wasn't really afraid about starting on the hair later on, because well, it just works fine like that. So I did that, also using some color combinations that are truly the basics that I use all the time. Why? Because they just work. And then for the snow here, I decided to take my G00 and G000, because this is for me truly the Copic combination of cracked pistachio. I don't know what you think. I'm also just flicking it a bit. I'm not going to fit it completely because it's snow and I just wanted to have that sort of shadowing idea, but I'm not going to do anything fancy or color it completely. And then later on, with the ink blending in the back, you will see that color pop out again with the cracked pistachio distress ink. So that's what I really like about this color combination. Then for the branches, I had no clue how to start coloring this, so I just did it. I did something. I started on the bottom, and then I went into those nerves and stuff. I have one branch on the left side, one I twisted for on the right side of my card, so that my shadowing will be different. I don't know what I will use, but I think I try to use as much as possible, but at this stage I just wanted to have a lot of possibilities depending on the birds that I wanted to use in the end. So therefore just stamping it out twice, doing the same coloring, nothing fancy. And then of course whenever I go outside of the lines, I use that colorless blender, because I just cannot do Copic coloring without the colorless blender. It's the fix that I need on every card, on every image. I cannot color perfectly, and I don't think that it's needed. It's not a necessity to do that. If you have a colorless blender right beside you, then everything will be just fine. So here again for the wood, I wanted it sort of to look a bit woody-ish, and so I thought about the shadows. And then I thought, well, maybe just the nerves again, or where the different wood panels are aligned next to each other. But I just kept going until I was sort of happy with it. It's something strange coloring wood. I don't know how that is for you guys, but I don't have it figured out yet. But I like how it ended up. But it's every time a struggle. Maybe I should have, well, this is one image, but otherwise if this was a part of a whole image with other parts, then I would have started with this part of the coloring, because it's something strange. And there are ways to make it look more real, but sometimes you don't want that, but at the end, well, it has to have a bit of interest. And one day I will know exactly how to tackle that from the start. We learn on the go, you know? So, oh, yes. I also wanted to mention, so this one is the Feed the Birds stamp set. There are other stamps that I still need to feature more, that I bought then. But it was just, as I said in the beginning, it arrived a bit late. It arrived after Christmas, so I know that from all those stamps that I bought back then, I haven't used them enough so far. So here I have my frame cut out of glitter cardstock, the gold dust from Tonic Studios, truly a gorgeous gold glitter cardstock. And then I have this panel slightly trimmed a bit bigger than the inside of the frame. Why? Because this way I can adhere it to the frame already ahead of adhering it to the card. The frame with the gorgeous scallop details of course doesn't cover a complete card base, so therefore I just don't want my panel to peek from underneath the frame, and so that's why I sort of figured it out to do it this way, really easy. And then here for the sky, as you saw, I just did a few hills on the bottom to get a bit of grounding for the tree feeding, the feeding thing of the birds, and then of course for the girl. And then I thought, well, I will just invent a bit of distress inks on the top for the sky. I didn't want it to be completely the same color, just because a sky barely ever is exactly completely the same blue all over. There are different shades, so I went a bit darker on some areas, a bit lighter on others. And then it was time to figure out how I could place all of these images. So making sure to keep the hills in mind. And then I took, once I placed everything where I thought it could fit, I took the PressNSeal. PressNSeal, really handy. Apparently invented by the husband of Jennifer Maguire, which is kind of cool. I bought it on Amazon. I get the question quite often. I bought it on Amazon, the German Amazon. I'm living in Belgium, but I used Amazon.de. Thanks to Julia, because she already knew where to buy it. So therefore crafty friends are just the best, because they know what you need and where to get it. So if you are looking for PressNSeal in Europe, I know that on Amazon.de, and I know it's there. I don't know how the whole Amazon thing works, so I cannot go into that in too much details, but well. So here I have sort of the layout that I like. So I'm taking the PressNSeal, and I still have place left for the sentiment. I'm adding the PressNSeal, and then I'm just pressing, and that way I can lift it all up together. Now I'm stamping out the sentiment. I just love the scripts and the different fonts of Hello Bluebird, and their sentiments, if there are in stamp sets, are just the cutest. Also things that other brands didn't necessarily think about, which I just love about it. So I'm going to adhere as much as possible flat on the card, and then I will play with dimension on the elements that rest. So here is the tricky part. I still haven't figured that out neither, how to place it immediately, like good, because actually I need 3 hands in my opinion to get it where I need it to be, but well, we figure it out on the go. So I adhered those things. I wanted that birdhouse to be on top of the frame, so I will fiddle with that now, adding just a bit of liquid glue on the frame, and then I will tuck that house, well, I will tuck the frame underneath the house, sort of. Lifting it up a bit, wiggling a bit, and adding it. And pressing it down, making sure that I remove maybe any excess liquid glue that I had. And this way I already have my panel in total with the frame to later on add to the card. So that's that. an adhesive eraser can always be handy, although I would suggest to do it once your adhesive sort of dried, because sometimes you can rip your papers. Really annoying. So I'm adding now those other parts that are, well, overlapping with the ones that are already on the card. I'm doing that with thin foam squares because I just love the dimension of that. And then once I have everything in place, I can adhere this panel on a card base. So it has been a while since I made a slimline card, I know. Once the mini slimlines got me convinced, well, I just got addicted to mini slimlines, and I still think that for my clean and simple cards, the mini slimlines are just fabulous. But in this case, I wanted to use as much as possible of the images, so just giving yourself a bit more room is handy in that case. So I'm adding the panel using some adhesive roller, lining it up straight, and then I will finish this panel off using some heart droplets. These are the blossom hearts from little things from Lucy's cards. And I just thought that this was perfect since it sort of is a matte rose, and it also, well, it looks a bit like the old rose that I used, or the lightest color that I used on the birds, and therefore I just love this combination. So some more liquid glue, and then I'm using my embellishment wand to get it all in place. And if you want to, you can add quite a lot of extra things like glitter or glossy accents or anything you might fancy. I decided to not do that because I already have quite a lot, and then I have, of course, also that glitter on the frame. So I just left it like this, and I truly hope that you enjoyed it and the video as well. Don't forget, this is a Challenge a Crafty Friend card, so my crafty friend Julia also has an amazing video and card created. Definitely check out the link that I have in the description box towards her video. You will love it, I'm sure of it. And thank you so much for playing along. If you are inspired, definitely try to use some stamps that you haven't given all of the attention they deserve. And I'll be back soon with another card. Bye!